Hey guys, as promised, I'm back on Saturday with another video. And today I'm going to be making coconut tres leches cake. So what I have here is I have egg whites in this bowl and egg yolks in this bowl. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to separate the yolk from the white. So what I have to do is I have to crack it very gently, and then we want to be careful that you don't use all your force because you don't want the yolks and the white to mix together. So what I'm doing is I'm going back and forth and I'm making sure that none of the yolk gets in. So a little bit of it did get in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to carefully scoop it out and I'm going to pour it in there. Okay, so now that I got the yolk out, I'm going to wash my hands really quickly. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on to the thing, and then I'm using a whisk, and I'm going to put this on 6 to make stiff peaks. And what stiff peaks is eggs that are aerated so that it looks like whipped cream. And the reason we want to aerate it is because we want a light cake, because it's we want it to be like a sponge with holes in it so that it absorbs all the milk. So now let's put the sugar in with the egg yolks. And now we're going to use the hand mixer and we're going to mix this together. And we're waiting, and then we're going to make sure that it becomes to like a paler yellow than what the yolks are. And we are trying to make sure that all the sugar is mixed in. We don't want to put it at, too high. Okay, so now that it's at a paler yellow, I'm going to add in the vanilla. Okay, so now that the vanilla is in, we're going to mix this again. Okay, so my vanilla is mixed in, and now I'm gonna put this over there, and I'm gonna go preheat the oven. So for my oven, what you have to do is you have to press bake, and then you press start, and it's gonna preheat to 350 degrees. So now let me show you guys my pan that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a bundt pan, and it is lined with butter so that the cake doesn't stick. But you guys can use cooking spray as well, whatever works for you. And I have this pan for coconut, because I'm going to toast some coconut. And so I think my egg whites are done. It looks like whipped cream. So I'm just going to turn this off, and we're going to lift this up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the attachment to the paddle because we don't need the whisk anymore. And I'm just going to set this on the side, and I'm going to take the paddle and I'm going to attach that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly add in my yolk mixture.
You have to mix while you're adding.
Okay. So we're gonna put this on stir, and then we are going to keep adding it in while it's on stir. So I'm going to use a spatula to scrape out everything. Okay, so now I'm going to let that mix, and I'm going to put the coconut onto this pan right here. And I'm going to evenly spread it out because we want to toast it. And the reason it's not on the ingredient list is because this is an optional ingredient, which means you don't have to put it. And I'm just gonna put this everywhere. And this is 1 cup of coconut. So now I'm gonna go put this in the oven. Even though the oven isn't fully preheated, it's okay. But I'm gonna set the timer for 5 minutes. So the timer's set for 5 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to take it out, and then this is what it looks like. And now we are going to sift together my flour and my baking powder. So you have to put it over because it has holes in the bottom and you don't want everything to go onto the countertop. So what you do is you take the flour and you put it in to the sifter. And then you take the baking powder and you put that. And then you take this little handle right here and you mix it together. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm just going to continuously turn it until everything goes in to the rest of the batter. Couldn't think of the word for some time. Okay, so it's almost done. Just like a few more. Okay, so now that all of my flour is in, I'm gonna take the hand mixer because I'm gonna take a spatula, not the hand mixer, the spatula, and I'm going to mix this in to the eggs because you don't want to overmix it because we want a really light cake, and you can't get a really light cake if it's overmixed because then it becomes tough. And you want to keep mixing until you can't see any more white, and the white is the flour and the baking powder. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the bun pan. So I'm putting it in the oven for a couple of minutes, and my coconut has been cooking for about 2 minutes, and I'm going to keep mixing this. And
looks like it's done. You should only use circular motion, Hannah.
okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go get the bun pan.
It's hot.
So I'm gonna get a glove.
Hannah, why don't you move the coconut lengthwise so when you have to go back and put the cake, you can put it on the top shelf.
Okay, so I got the bun pan, and now I'm going to pour in the cake batter. And you want to make sure that none of it gets in the middle because there is a hole, and you don't want to get any of the batter in the hole because you want as much batter as possible. to get as much cake as possible. And now I'm just scooping out everything from the sides of the pan. Okay, so I'm gonna go put this in the oven, and I'll see you guys when it's out of the oven and cooled off. Okay, so hey guys, so my cake is done, and this is what it looks like. It just came out of the oven, so I'm not gonna lift it up, but I'm pretty sure you guys can see. And I'm poking holes right now to make sure that I can let all the milks absorb into the cake. So there. Yeah, so if you guys are looking at it, it looks like a sponge, which is what we wanted. So, and it rose a lot, which means that we made the batter right, so that's good. So now, let's make our milk. So, sorry, I'm just trying to move this over without burning my hand. So, I move that to the side, and we're gonna put this skewer over on the side. So this is condensed milk, and the reason I turned it because I wanted to make sure. So I'm gonna put the whole thing of condensed milk, and that's 14 ounces. Okay, and 7 ounces of coconut milk, and I have the measuring cup to help. And if you guys see the numbers over here, that's ounces. So there, I know that there's only 8, so we're just gonna go to this line right here between the 6 and the 8, and that is 7. So okay, so I have 7 ounces. It is at the line. So now let's pour this into the condensed milk. And we need half of the evaporated milk, which is 6 ounces. And that is right there.
Can you move the
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, so I spilled it, but it's okay. I'll clean it up.
Do you need help?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna bring this over here.
Is it 6?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna pour this in. I'm gonna get a napkin to clean this up. Okay, so now let's pull the cheese back. And so I have a whisk, and I have my 3 milks. And tres is actually 3, and leche is milk, so that's why it's called the tres leches cake, because it's 3 milks, and that's in Spanish. So now we're just whisking this together. Looks cool. Okay, so it's done, and let me show you guys the coconut. It's toasted, not burnt, but toasted, just how we want it. And that was in there for 5 minutes. So now let's bring this back. Okay. So what you do is you pour it a little bit at a time.
You want to pour it into the cup first?
Yeah.
To make it easier for you. And this way you can pour it around the cake, right?
Yeah. So I don't want it to overflow, so I just put most of it. I still have a little bit in. And you just go around the cake. And you guys can see it's absorbing, and you want to make sure that you get everywhere, including the edges, so that nowhere is dry. Okay, so I'm going to let this absorb, and I'm gonna keep going, and I'll see you guys when all of my milk is in the cake. Okay, so the milk has absorbed into the cake, and this is what it looks like. And we have the toasted coconut here. And now let's talk about today's Bible verse. And today's Bible verse is Hebrews 6, verse 7. And it says, For ground that drinks the rain which often falls on it brings forth vegetation useful to those for whose sake it is also tilled, receives a blessing from God. In these summer months, I just want to spend as much time as I can outside. I love the warmth and the feel of the sun. I also love the rain. I feel like when it rains, it washes away all the dirt, and we are starting new. I also love the summer because our parents plant, and we are able to see the rewards of their toil. Fresh fruits and vegetables are also very delicious, so I like that as well. Basically, what God is saying is that if we live from things He gives us, we will have a fulfilling life. I know what to do